Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Tech Motoring. On today's episode we're going to be reviewing this. This is the AOSK Front Trunk or Frunk Mat for your Mustang Mach-E. And we're going to go ahead and compare this to another very well-known brand of front trunk mat. So hit that subscribe button and stay tuned. We'll be right back. Well, as most of you know, this is the front trunk of the Mustang Mach-E, and I have here the AOSK Front Trunk Mat that fits in here. Now, this is made out of just a standard thin rubber material, nothing special. Also very lightweight, which is good to see. It looks like it's capable of holding up to a lot of the elements and anything you might throw at it, so that's good to see. So let's go ahead and get it thrown in here and see how it looks. All right, so as we can see, we have the front trunk mat thrown in here now, and you can see it has these edges here that cover up the extra little side parts, the little wings, if you will, of the frunk. So it comes up a little bit there, and this mat covers those as well. It's got a really, really deep shell to it, which is nice. It's actually got quite a bit of gap there. I would say that's at least 2 inches, maybe 2.5 inches to help protect the sides of here, which is really nice. So yeah, I would have to say that this is a pretty good addition to the vehicle. I think it works really well. You can see it kind of doesn't sit completely flush against the edge of the frunk. And honestly, I don't think this is a big deal. I don't think that'll really cause any problems, obviously. But I think over time, maybe as this thing gets a little bit hotter and it maybe starts to form to the frunk a little bit better, I think that's maybe what's going to happen. But other than that, I mean, looks great. It's going to function exactly how it needs to. And let's go ahead and compare this now to another brand of frunk mat that I've done before for the Mustang Mach-E and see what the differences between those two are. And this is the 3D MAXpider front trunk floor mat. And as you can see, this one fits really well. Also, it doesn't have as much of a wall to it, so it doesn't have as much coverage coming up as the AOSK branded one. But overall, that one fits just as good. All right, everybody. Well, like I was saying, we are going to have a little bit of a competition here between the AOSK front trunk floor mat and the 3D MAXpider floor mat, one that I have actually had in this car for quite a while now since I bought it. So we're going to look at the difference between these two and, you know, see which one we determine is better. And really, this is going to be up to you to determine which one's better, but I'm just going to give you the differences between the two, and then you can decide which one you would rather want. So as we can see, we'll start with the AOSK. The AOSK is just made out of a rubber material, like we were saying before. It does have the ledge support in it as well, so for that little higher spot inside the frunk, so it does cover that. These walls on the inside here are actually pretty high. They're probably at least 2 inches, probably even 2.5 inches tall of you know, extra, you know, sideways support. So this has got quite a bit of a deep wall to it, which is really nice. And I mean, other than that, it's just a rubber mat that it will probably last a long time. It's got some very simple, you know, designs in the bottom of it. You know, that's pretty much just standard nowadays on most floor mats. So really nothing special. They don't even have their name in it, which for some people, I know you would probably prefer to have it clean and not actually have a name in it. So now let's look at the 3D MAXpider and see how that one fares up to this. All right, and now we have the 3D MAXpider floor mat. And like I said before, this is the one I've had in this vehicle since I've purchased the vehicle about 8 months ago. And this is a little bit different in the sense where this has a rubberized texture to the top of the mat, and then on the back of the mat you have like a kind of like a fuzzy material on the back. And this is great for like the floor mats inside the vehicle because it sticks to like carpet. It's sort of like a Velcro, and that's great for that. But the frunk obviously has a bottom that's plastic. It's not, you know, carpet. So this doesn't really help much with that. It does have the wings on the edge, so you can actually cover those two sides of the frunk with the mat as well, which is very nice. It does have the logo in it, so once again, if you care or not about having the company logo in it, you know, there it is. Other than that, the walls on this one are not as tall as the AOSK mat. As you can see here, these are only about maybe like an inch, maybe a little more than an inch tall for the wall. So you don't have as high of a wall in this mat versus the AOSK one. So maybe that makes some difference for you when it comes to choosing which of these floor mats you would prefer. And then other than that, I think this one fits in there pretty much perfectly. I don't think this really has any type of fitment issues, but it's also because it doesn't have as tall of a wall either, where the AOSK has that, you know, kind of a buckling of the rubber a little bit. Once again, not a big deal, it doesn't really matter, but you know, for some people they want a perfect fit and finish. But I mean, overall, I gotta say that I do really like the AOSK mat because, well, number one, it's rubber. Not that this could really slide around, but this would definitely prevent things from sliding around a lot more than, you know, the fuzzy side here of this mat. You know, it does have the higher walls, which is nice, so depending on if you're trying to protect a little bit more of the frunk bottom there, you know, at least you'll protect a couple more inches of the side wall there. And of course, you know, this being just rubber probably is a little bit easier to clean than this. This rubberized texture is easy to clean. It's fine, don't get me wrong, but because it has a lot more smaller, you know, nooks and crannies inside of all of these, it does get a little bit more. You have to really get in there with a brush to clean this one out, whereas the AOSK is pretty much just a flat rubber with a couple of these little designs in it. So I think this would probably be overall easier to clean versus the 3D MAXpider, but really it's your choice. Which one do you want? Well, you get to choose, and I'll put the links in the description below in case you're interested. I'd like to thank you very much for watching today's episode, and I'd like to thank AOSK for sending me out this front trunk mat for me to review for the Mustang Mach-E. Of course, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. If this episode helped you out, or if you liked it, just hit the thumbs up just below. Check us out on our website, techmotoring.com, facebook.com/techmotoring, on Twitter, @techmotoring. I'd like to thank you very much again for watching, and remember, welcome to the future, and welcome to Tech Motoring. And we'll see you on the next episode.